Hello guys, today we're going to talk about photosynthesis, a very important process in A-level biology and maybe the most important process in all of the plant topics in A-levels. So photosynthesis is a word that comes from two Latin words. The first one, photo, and the second one, synthesis. So photo means light in Latin. Photo means light. Anything with the prefix photo has to do with light. All right. And synthesis means to make something from nothing. So to create something. So photosynthesis is a word that means creating energy from light. So to define photosynthesis more properly, we can say it is the process by which a plant creates energy or creates food using the energy trapped from light. And why do plants create energy? Because they cannot feed on most plants at least, most plants cannot feed on different other organisms. Like us, like humans, we eat food. We can move, we can hunt, we can eat other animals, eat other plants. And this is the way we obtain our glucose and we obtain our carbs and proteins and fats in order to get our energy. But in plants, this is not possible, so they need to make their own energy using the energy from sunlight. So the plant needs to gather up carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, and it needs to gather up water from the soil, and it needs to use its own energy in order to create glucose from nothing. So it's using light energy, trapping it, and using this energy to create glucose from carbon dioxide and water. And the byproduct, or the product that is not needed really by the plant, is oxygen. So oxygen is given out as something extra, and the plant just throws it out into the atmosphere, or it diffuses out through the leaf into the atmosphere, and this is how we make use of the oxygen that it discards, and it makes use of our carbon dioxide that we breathe out. Do plants undergo respiration? So a lot of people confuse respiration and photosynthesis. Some students even confuse respiration and breathing. So respiration, to define respiration, although we're not going to talk about it today, but it's good to draw the line between respiration and photosynthesis and respiration and breathing. So respiration is the process by which energy is, or glucose is broken down to obtain energy. So food is, you already have food. In respiration, you already have food. You want to break it down to release energy in order to use this energy in other things, such as movement, such as thinking, such as digestion, such as active transport. All these processes or metabolic processes require energy. And respiration is the process by which cells break down glucose to provide energy for other metabolic processes. This is unlike photosynthesis, in which food is made using light energy. So this is very different. And breathing, of course, is the act of breathing, act of moving one's chest, a mammal's chest, to inhale and exhale. This is breathing. It has nothing to do with respiration. All right. So now we know what photosynthesis is and where it is happening. It happens in plants and a very minute amount of bacteria, which is so insignificant we usually don't say that bacteria photosynthesize. So mostly it's within the plant kingdom that photosynthesis is a major process. And this is why you see that this organelle, the chloroplast, is mostly found in plant cells. All right, so plant cells require this organelle so that they can carry out this process. Its only job is to carry out this process. Now, a chloroplast is mostly present in a leaf, in the leaf of the plant. And although it is present in other plant cells in other regions of the plant, but it is mostly concentrated in cells inside the leaf. So what makes leaves green? Is it chloroplast? No. At A level, we should know that it's not chloroplasts that makes leaves green. It is something inside the chloroplast. And this is called chlorophyll. It's a green pigment that is present inside the chloroplast that is responsible for trapping the light from the sunlight, from the sun. So chloroplasts are oval in shape, and they have two membranes, an outer membrane and an inner membrane. And inside these two membranes, it has a liquid or a free space for processes to occur, just like a cytoplasm in a cell. The chloroplast itself also has a free space filled with liquid where processes can occur. And this is called the stroma. This is called the stroma. So the stroma is basically the cytoplasm of a chloroplast. And in the stroma, there are a lot of components floating around inside the chloroplast. And the most important one is called a thylakoid. So this is the smallest unit in which photosynthesis happens. So photosynthesis happens inside the chloroplast, throughout the chloroplast. In the thylakoid membrane. So it happens all over the chloroplast. But different stages happen in different places. And we're going to talk about that when we talk about photosynthesis in detail and the stages of photosynthesis, where each one occurs. So now we need to talk about the thylakoid. What is a thylakoid? So a thylakoid is a small disc-like structure in which different metabolic processes happen. So a part of photosynthesis is going to happen inside this thylakoid. And in a chloroplast, in a single chloroplast, we have multiple thylakoids that these processes can happen in. To maximize how much photosynthesis a chloroplast can do, I have multiple thylakoids. I don't only have one thylakoid or two thylakoids. I have hundreds, maybe thousands of thylakoids inside a single chloroplast. And they are arranged in a stack, just like this, over each other. The chloroplast does photosynthesis in a unit called the thylakoid, and it stacks multiple thylakoids over each other to increase the overall surface area in which photosynthesis happens. This stack of multiple thylakoids is called a granum. So a single stack is called a granum. And this is an important term to know, an important keyword to use in your exams. So a granum is a single stack of multiple thylakoids. And a thylakoid is a single disc where photosynthesis happens. Now look at this. This is a granum. This is a single granum, a single stack of thylakoids. Let me highlight this. So let's focus on this granum. This is where photosynthesis, a reaction of photosynthesis happens. So multiple granums, we have multiple granums, multiple stacks all over the chloroplast. And these stacks are joined by structures called the lamella. So the lamella joins different stacks of granum also to increase the surface area and to allow them to communicate with each other. So sometimes you might see the word grana, not granum. And grana is the plural of granum. So multiple stacks are called grana. All right, so this is also an important keyword to know. So if I was to highlight 3 keywords that you have to know for the exam about the components of chloroplasts, it has to be stroma, granum, and thylakoid. And of course, thylakoid membrane is the membrane that surrounds the thylakoid, the membrane that surrounds the disc itself. And this is going to be significant when we talk about the light-dependent and the light-independent reactions of photosynthesis. Thank you for watching today's video, and I will see you next time to discuss more deeply the process of photosynthesis and how photosynthesis happens inside the chloroplast.